Hey everyone, welcome back to Try Not to Sleep. I'm your host, Ethan Brooks, and as always, we're here with another calm, slightly boring story from history to help you unwind. Tonight we will be talking about the story of inner Earth conspiracy theories. Alright, get comfortable, and let's see how far you make it before you fall asleep. These theories suggest that ancient advanced civilizations might have survived in secret subterranean environments. Researchers have documented stories of hidden realms beneath the Earth's surface for centuries. Ancient myths from different cultures describe underground worlds inhabited by mysterious beings. Occult societies in the 19th and 20th centuries discussed the possibility of advanced societies living in vast networks of caverns. The term inner Earth is used to refer to these ideas. This documentary focuses on three major inner Earth conspiracy theories. The first theory involves a secret society that allegedly harnessed a limitless energy source hidden underground. The second theory is based on a science fiction novel from the 19th century, which described an angel-like race called the Vroya. According to the novel, the Vroya controlled a powerful energy called Vro, which could be materialized as a liquid and manipulated by thought. The author, Bulwer Lytton, claimed that his story was based on truth, and his claims were debated by occultists such as Blavatsky, Eliot, and Steiner. The third theory centers on Nazi Germany's interest in subterranean realms. Members of the Thule Society and the Vril Society believed in the existence of hidden underground civilization. They organized expeditions to search for these realms and their alleged energy sources. Some conspiracy theories claim that Nazi officials escaped to secret bases in Antarctica after World War II. These stories often involve advanced technology, including disc-shaped aircraft and supposed interdimensional travel. The purpose of this documentary is to present the origins, development, and key figures behind these inner Earth theories. The investigation relies on documented claims, published accounts, and known historical events. The following sections will examine each theory in detail. Mr. Mathos' face reveal. Mr. Mathos is a researcher known for his work on inner Earth theories. For many years, he remained anonymous in public forums and publications. He contributed articles to underground magazines and online communities under the pseudonym Mr. Mathos. His research focused on comparing ancient myths with modern conspiracy theories about subterranean civilizations. In 2022, Mr. Mathos agreed to reveal his identity for a documentary project. The event was filmed in a studio in Berlin, Germany. The production team set up multiple cameras to document the process. Mr. Mathos arrived at the studio wearing a plain suit and carrying a briefcase with research notes. He sat for an interview where he discussed his background and motivation. Mr. Mathos' real name is Dr. Marcus Theobald. He was born in Hamburg in 1974. He studied archaeology and comparative mythology at the University of Munich. He completed his doctoral thesis on the influence of ancient flood myths on European folklore. After graduation, he worked as a consultant for several museums and historical archives. During the interview, Dr. Theobald explained how he became interested in inner Earth theories. He first encountered the subject while cataloging rare books at the Bavarian State Library. He found references to the Vroya and the energy source called Vro in 19th century literature. He also discovered correspondence between occultists discussing the possibility of hidden underground civilization. Dr. Theobald described his research methods. He collects primary sources, such as letters, diaries, and early scientific articles. He compares these sources to later conspiracy theories and science fiction novels. He also interviews surviving members of occult societies when possible. His goal is to separate documented facts from speculation and fiction. The Face reveal marked a turning point in the study of inner Earth theories. Dr. Theobald's willingness to go public allowed other researchers to verify his credentials. It also encouraged more open discussion of the historical roots of subterranean civilization theories. The next section of the documentary examines the origins of these ideas in ancient myths and early literature, posing the inner Earth question. The idea of civilizations living beneath the surface of the Earth appears in many ancient stories. In Greek mythology, Hades ruled an underworld where souls resided after death. Hindu texts describe Patala, a subterranean realm inhabited by serpent beings. In Norse legends, dwarves lived in vast underground halls, crafting weapons and treasures. These stories often describe complex societies, advanced knowledge, and hidden treasures below the earth. In the 19th century, interest in subterranean worlds grew among European writers and occultists. Edward Bulwer Lytton published The Coming Race in 1871. The novel described the Vroya, a race of superhumans living in a network of caverns. They possessed a limitless energy source called Vro, which they could control with their minds. Bulwer Lytton claimed his story was based on real accounts, and his statement sparked debate among occultists. Helena Blavatsky, a founder of the Theosophical Society, referenced subterranean civilizations in her writings. She suggested that ancient advanced beings survived cataclysms by retreating underground. Samuel Mathers, leader of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, discussed similar ideas in statements published in 1896. Mathers described secret tunnels and hidden societies that preserved ancient knowledge. In Germany, the Thule Society and the Vril Society adopted these concepts. They believed that powerful energy and advanced technology could be found in underground realms. Members organized expeditions and attempted to contact hidden civilizations. These activities influenced later conspiracy theories about secret Nazi bases and advanced technology. Science fiction authors continued to explore the inner Earth question. Their novels often described lost races, hidden cities, and miraculous energy sources. These stories combined ancient myths, occult beliefs, and new scientific discovery. The result was a growing body of literature and speculation about what might exist beneath the Earth's surface. The next section examines the most influential inner Earth conspiracy theories of the 20th century. It traces their origins, main claims, and connections to historical events. Inner Earth. In ancient stories, ancient civilizations recorded stories of vast worlds beneath the surface. In Greek mythology, the underworld was ruled by Hades and described as a complex realm with its own geography and inhabitant. The Greeks believed souls traveled underground after death, and some heroes, like Orpheus, attempted to enter and return. In Hindu tradition, texts such as the Mahabharata and the Puranas describe Patala, a subterranean world inhabited by Nagas, or serpent beings. Patala was said to be filled with great cities, advanced technology, and treasures. In Norse mythology, the dwarves lived in underground halls, forging weapons and artifacts for the gods. The prose, Edda and Poetic Edda, both mention these subterranean societies, which were considered skilled craftsmen and keepers of secret knowledge. In ancient Mesopotamia, the Epic of Gilgamesh describes a journey to the underworld. where the hero seeks wisdom from those who dwell below. Native American legends also feature stories of underground people. The Hopi speak of the Ant people, who sheltered their ancestors in vast caverns during times of disaster. These stories describe the Ant people as generous beings who provided food and protection. In Central and South America, the Inca and Maya believed in an underworld called Ucupacha, or Ixbalba. These realms were often depicted as complex networks of caves and tunnels. Chinese folklore includes tales of vast subterranean palaces inhabited by dragons and immortals. The classic of mountains and seas, an ancient Chinese text, records descriptions of hidden worlds beneath mountains. In Africa, the Dogon people of Mali speak of ancestral spirits who traveled from underground chambers. Archaeologists have found evidence that ancient peoples explored deep cave systems. Paintings and artifacts have been discovered in caves across Europe, Asia, and the Americas. These findings suggest that early humans spent significant time underground, possibly inspiring stories of hidden realms. These ancient myths provided a foundation for later theories about advanced civilizations living in secret beneath the earth. Occult debates and subterranean realms. In the 19th century, interest in subterranean worlds increased among occult societies in Europe. The Theosophical Society, founded by Helena Blavatsky in 1875, discussed the existence of hidden masters and advanced beings living beneath the earth. Blavatsky wrote about Agartha, a legendary city said to be located deep underground, ruled by enlightened beings. She claimed these beings preserved ancient wisdom and occasionally influenced surface events. Samuel Mathers, a leader of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, published statements in 1896 that referenced secret tunnels and underground society. Mathers described these groups as custodians of forbidden knowledge. He suggested that they survived past cataclysms by retreating into vast cavern systems. Members of the Golden Dawn debated the reality of these claims in private meetings and correspondence. Edward Bulwer Lytton's novel, The Coming Race, published in 1871, added fuel to these discussions. The book described the Vroya, a subterranean civilization with advanced technology and psychic abilities. Bulwer Lytton insisted in public interviews that his story was based on real accounts and secret information. Occultists such as Blavatsky, Eliot, and Steiner analyzed his descriptions and debated their authenticity. Some believed Bulwer Lytton had disguised the truth as fiction, while others dismissed his claims as pure imagination. In Germany, the Thule Society and the Vril Society adopted these ideas in the early 20th century. Members believed in the existence of a limitless energy source called Vril, inspired by Bulwer Lytton's Vrorodao. They organized seances and experiments to contact subterranean beings and access hidden power. Karl Haushofer, a professor at the University of Munich, and Maria Orsic, a medium, played prominent roles in these efforts. The Golden Dawn maintained communication with other occult groups in Europe, especially in Germany. These connections allowed for the exchange of theories and alleged discoveries about underground civilization. Occult debates often focused on the possibility of lost knowledge, advanced technology, and secret societies operating beneath the earth. These discussions influenced later conspiracy theories and expeditions in search of subterranean realms. Theories of hidden civilizations. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, several theories emerged about advanced civilizations living deep underground. One of the earliest came from Edward Bulwer Lytton's 1871 novel, The Coming Race. The book described the Vroya, a race of angel-like superhumans who lived in a vast network of caverns. The Vroya harnessed a limitless energy source called Vro, which could be materialized as a liquid and controlled by thought. Bulwer Lytton claimed his story was based on hidden truths, and some readers believed he had disguised real knowledge as fiction. Occultists such as Helena Blavatsky and Rudolf Steiner debated the reality of Bulwer Lytton's claims. They compared his descriptions to ancient myths and their own spiritual teaching. Some believed the Vroya were based on real, ancient beings who survived cataclysms by moving underground. Others argued the story was purely symbolic. In the early 20th century, German occult societies expanded on these ideas. The Thule Society and the Vril Society believed in a lost civilization with access to powerful underground energy. They claimed that secret societies had preserved advanced technology and knowledge beneath the Earth's surface. Members organized expeditions to search for entrances to these hidden realms, especially in Central Asia and the Arctic. During the 1930s and 1940s, Nazi Germany became involved in these theories. High-ranking officials believed that ancient technology and energy sources could be found underground. The Vril Society was tasked with developing disc-shaped aircraft using supposed knowledge from subterranean civilizations. Expeditions were sent to Antarctica, where they mapped regions and searched for signs of hidden bases. After World War II, new theories claimed that Nazi officials escaped to secret underground complexes in Antarctica. Some reports described vast, geothermally warmed caverns with lakes and advanced structures. These stories included claims that high-ranking Nazis, including Hitler, survived and continued their activities in secret. Writers and researchers continued to investigate these theories. Some relied on eyewitness accounts, while others analyzed historical documents and expedition records. The idea of hidden civilizations beneath the Earth remained popular in conspiracy literature and fringe science throughout the 20th century. Bulwer Lytton's science fiction claims. Edward Bulwer Lytton published The Coming Race in 1871. The novel describes a hidden civilization called the Vroya, living in vast caverns beneath the earth. The Vroya are depicted as angel-like superhumans. They possess advanced technology and a limitless energy source known as Vro. In the story, Vro can be materialized as a liquid and controlled by the mind. Bulwer Lytton's descriptions include detailed accounts of Vroya society, including their royal history, governance, education systems, economic classes, laws, customs, and religion. He explains that their religion acknowledges the existence of a higher power, but its nature is left unspecified. Bulwer Lytton claimed publicly that his story was based on truth. He suggested that he had access to secret knowledge about ancient subterranean civilizations. His statements attracted attention from occultists and esoteric groups. Helena Blavatsky, Samuel Mathers, and Rudolf Steiner debated the authenticity of his claims. Some believed Bulwer Lytton had disguised real events as fiction, while others dismissed his assertions as fantasy. There are similarities between Bulwer Lytton's descriptions and earlier occult writings. Samuel Mathers, in 1896, wrote about ancient societies escaping catastrophe by retreating underground. Mathers described networks of tunnels and hidden chambers, which he claimed preserved lost knowledge. Bulwer Lytton's work appeared 25 years before Mathers' statement, but the overlap in themes led some researchers to suspect shared sources or direct inspiration. The novel's influence extended to secret societies in Europe. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and other groups discussed the possibility of a real Vroya civilization. Members speculated about the existence of Vro or similar energy sources. These discussions contributed to the later formation of the Vril Society in Germany. Bulwer Lytton's claims blurred the line between fiction and alleged fact. His novel became a foundation for later Inner Earth theories. It inspired both occult investigations and conspiracy theories about advanced civilizations hidden beneath the surface of the Earth, angel-like Vroya, and limitless energy. Bulwer Lytton described the Vroya as a race of beings physically similar to humans, but taller, stronger, and possessing unusual abilities. In his novel, the Vroya lived in a vast subterranean world connected by immense tunnels and illuminated by artificial light. Their society was highly organized, with a royal family, a structured education system, and strict social classes. The Vroya communicated telepathically and had developed advanced technology far beyond that of surface dwellers. The most distinctive feature of the Vroya was their mastery of Vro, a limitless energy source. Vro could be stored as a liquid, manipulated by thought, and used to power machines, heal injuries, and even alter the environment. Bulwer Lytton described Vro as the foundation of Vroya society, economy, and daily life. Every citizen learned to control Vro from childhood, and the most skilled individuals held positions of authority. The energy source was so powerful that it eliminated the need for physical labor and made war obsolete. Bulwer Lytton provided detailed accounts of how Vro was harnessed and distributed. He described machines that could draw Vro from the earth, refine it, and store it in special vessels. The Vroya used Vro-powered vehicles to travel through their underground world. They built entire cities with the help of Vro-driven construction devices. Medical practitioners used Vro to cure diseases and regenerate tissue. The energy also powered defensive systems that protected the Vroya from external threats. The author claimed that the Vroya's control of Vro had shaped their culture and beliefs. Their religion centered on the responsible use of Vro and the pursuit of knowledge. Bulwer Lytton wrote that misuse of Vro could lead to disaster, so strict laws governed its application. The Vroya viewed themselves as guardians of this power, responsible for maintaining balance in their world. These descriptions of the Vroya and their limitless energy became central themes in later Inner Earth theories. Cultists and conspiracy theorists cited Bulwer Lytton's work as evidence of hidden knowledge and advanced technology beneath the Earth's surface. Vro, mind-controlled, liquid power. Bulwer Lytton described Vro as a substance with both physical and psychic properties. In his account, Vro existed naturally underground and could be extracted in liquid form. The Vroya learned to refine and store Vro in specially designed containers. They used these vessels to distribute the energy throughout their subterranean society. According to the novel, Vro could power machines, provide light, and supply heat. It replaced all other forms of energy and fuel. The most unusual aspect of Vro was its connection to the mind. Bulwer Lytton wrote that the Vroya could manipulate Vro directly through focused thought. Children in Vroya society received training to control Vro from an early age. This training included mental exercises and physical practice. Over time, Vroya citizens became capable of moving objects, healing wounds, and operating machinery using only their minds and the Vro energy. The Vroya developed advanced technology based on Vroa's properties. Bulwer Lytton described vehicles that floated above the ground, powered entirely by mind-directed Vroa. He also mentioned defensive systems that responded automatically to the thoughts of authorized users. Medical devices could accelerate healing or restore lost function using focused Vro energy. The Society's infrastructure relied on a network of Vro channels, similar to pipes or wires, but controlled by collective mental effort. Vro's mind-reactive nature shaped Vroya culture and law. Only those with proper training and discipline could access the most powerful forms of Vro. Strict regulations governed its use to prevent accidents or misuse. Bulwer Lytton claimed that attempts to weaponize Vro were forbidden, and violators faced severe penalties. The Vroya believed that their survival depended on responsible stewardship of Vro. Occult groups and conspiracy theorists later focused on the idea of mind-controlled energy. They speculated about real substances or technologies hidden beneath the earth, inspired by Bulwer Lytton's description. The concept of Vro influenced later claims about secret societies, lost technologies, and psychic abilities linked to inner Earth civilizations. Detailed descriptions of Vroya society. Bulwer Lytton provided extensive details about the structure and daily life of Vroya society. He described a monarchy led by a hereditary ruler, supported by a council of elders. The royal family traced its lineage back for centuries, and succession was determined by both birth and demonstrated mastery of Vro. Below the royal family, there were several social classes. Nobles held administrative and judicial roles, while scholars managed education and research. Artisans and engineers maintained the infrastructure, and a small class of laborers performed tasks not yet automated by Vro-powered machines. Education was compulsory and began in early childhood. All Vroya children attended state-run academies where they learned history, mathematics, ethics, and the principles of Vro manipulation. The curriculum included both theoretical instruction and practical exercises. Students advanced through a series of examinations. Only those who mastered Vro at the highest level could enter the ruling or scholarly classes. Bulwer Lytton described the Vroya legal system as strict but fair. Laws were codified and enforced by magistrates chosen for their integrity and psychic ability. Trials involved both evidence and mental evaluation, using Vro to determine truthfulness. Punishments ranged from fines to exile, but rehabilitation through education was preferred. Economically, the Vroya relied on the abundance of Vro. There was no currency, as energy and resources were distributed according to need. Artisans and engineers received recognition and privileges for significant contributions. Trade with other subterranean communities occurred, but was regulated by the council. Religion in Vroya society acknowledged a higher, unspecified force. Rituals focused on gratitude for Vro and the pursuit of knowledge. Temples served as centers for meditation and study rather than worship. The Vroya believed their civilization's survival depended on the responsible use of Vro. Bulwer Lytton's descriptions included daily routines, such as communal meals, public festivals, and athletic competition. He emphasized the importance of discipline, education, and collective responsibility. These details shaped later interpretations of the Vroya as an idealized, harmonious society. Religion, an unspecified existence. Bulwer Lytton described the Vroya religion as focused on discipline and gratitude rather than worship of specific deities. The Vroya acknowledged the existence of a higher force, but they did not define or personify it. Their rituals centered on the responsible use of vro and the pursuit of knowledge. Temples served as places for meditation, study, and community gatherings. Priests or spiritual guides were chosen for their wisdom and mastery of vro, not for claims of divine authority. Ceremonies marked important events, such as the completion of education, technological achievements, and communal decision. During these events, Vroya citizens participated in group meditations and recitations of ethical codes. The society did not practice animal or human sacrifice. Instead, they emphasized self-improvement and service to the community as expressions of religious devotion. Bulwer Lytton wrote that the Vroya religion did not include detailed creation myths or stories about the afterlife. The existence of a higher force was accepted as a fact, but left undefined. This approach was intended to prevent dogma and sectarian conflict. Religious instruction was integrated into the education system. Students learned the ethical principles and responsibilities associated with the use of vro. The Vroya believed that misuse of vro could bring disaster to their society. Religious laws prohibited using vro for personal gain, violence, or manipulation of others. Violations were met with strict penalties, including loss of vro privileges and exclusion from important ritual. The Council of Elders enforced these laws and mediated dispute. Bulwer Lytton's descriptions of Vroya religion influenced later occult and conspiracy theories. Some groups claimed that the Vroya's acknowledgement of an unspecified higher existence reflected secret knowledge about the universe. Others used the absence of dogma as evidence that the Vroya were more advanced than surface civilizations. These interpretations contributed to the enduring fascination with the Vroya and their mysterious, disciplined society. Influence of Samuel Mathers. Samuel Liddell MacGregor Mathers was a British occultist and a founding member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. In 1896, Mathers released a statement discussing the possibility of ancient civilizations surviving underground. He described networks of tunnels and chambers beneath the surface, which he claimed sheltered survivors of a great cataclysm. Mathers suggested that these hidden societies preserved advanced knowledge and technology lost to the surface world. Mathers' writings included references to secret rituals and encoded teachings. He claimed that initiates of the Golden Dawn could access information about subterranean realms through spiritual exercise. Mathers encouraged members to study ancient texts and participate in meditative practices aimed at contacting hidden masters. He believed that some of these masters resided in underground sanctuaries. Mathers' ideas influenced other occultists in Britain and Europe. The Golden Dawn maintained correspondence with similar groups in France and Germany. These connections allowed for the exchange of theories about lost civilizations and hidden energy sources. Mathers' emphasis on secret knowledge and spiritual development became central themes in the Golden Dawn's teachings. Several Golden Dawn members wrote about their own experiences with alleged underground contacts. Some claimed to receive messages from advanced beings during rituals. Others described visions of vast subterranean cities and advanced technology. These accounts were circulated in private letters and published in occult journals. Mathers' influence extended to German esoteric societies. The Thule Society and the Vril Society adopted similar beliefs about ancient underground civilization. They incorporated Mathers' methods of ritual and meditation into their own practices. German occultists such as Rudolf Steiner and Karl Haushofer referenced Mathers' work in their writings. Mather's statements provided a framework for later inner Earth theory. His descriptions of tunnels, hidden knowledge, and advanced beings were echoed in later conspiracy literature. The connection between Mathers and Bulwer-Lytton's earlier novel suggested a shared tradition of speculation about subterranean worlds. These ideas shaped both occult practice and popular beliefs about the possibility of advanced civilizations beneath the Earth's surface. Golden Dawn and international connections. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was founded in London in 1887. Its founders included William Wynne Westcott, Samuel Mathers, and William Robert Woodman Dott. The order quickly attracted members interested in ritual magic, alchemy, and esoteric knowledge. Meetings took place in secret locations across England. Members studied ancient texts, performed ceremonies, and exchanged information about hidden tradition. The Golden Dawn maintained regular correspondence with other occult societies in Europe. Letters and documents were sent to and from where the Martinist Order and other groups operate. In Germany, the Golden Dawn established contact with the Fraternitas Saturni and the Theosophical Societies, German branches. These connections allowed the sharing of manuscripts, ritual instructions, and theories about ancient civilization. Occultists in Germany and Austria were especially interested in the possibility of subterranean realms. The Thule Society, founded in Munich in 1918, drew inspiration from both Golden Dawn materials and Bulwer-Lytton's writings. Bulwer-Lytton's writing. Karl Haushofer, a professor at the University of Munich, became an early member of the Thule Society. He studied geopolitics and occult theory, and he promoted the idea of hidden masters beneath the earth. The Vril Society emerged in the early 1920s, influenced by the Golden Dawn and Thule Society. Members believed in a powerful energy source called Vril, based on Bulwer-Lytton's Vril und Frau. Maria Orsic, a medium, became closely associated with the group. She claimed to receive telepathic messages from subterranean beings. The Vril Society organized seances and research meetings in Berlin and Munich. Golden Dawn members sometimes traveled to meet their counterparts in Germany. These visits involved ritual collaboration and the exchange of coded documents. Occult groups across Europe discussed theories about underground civilizations, lost technologies, and ancient catastrophes. The Golden Dawn's network helped spread these ideas beyond Britain. By the 1930s, speculation about advanced subterranean societies was common in both occult circles and fringe scientific publications. Karl Haushofer and the Munich Circle. Karl Haushofer was a German general and professor at the University of Munich. He specialized in geopolitics and military strategy. After World War I, Haushofer became involved with the Thule Society, an occult group based in Munich. The Thule Society promoted nationalist and esoteric ideas. It attracted academics, military officers, and political activists. Haushofer attended their meetings and contributed to their discussions on hidden knowledge and ancient civilization. In the early 1920s, a group of intellectuals and occultists formed around Haushofer in Munich. This group became known as the Munich Circle. The Munich Circle included members of the Thule Society, the Vril Society, and other secret organizations. They met regularly to exchange research, discuss theories, and plan expeditions. Their focus was on the possibility of advanced civilizations living beneath the Earth's surface. Haushofer believed that ancient knowledge and powerful energy sources could be found in subterranean realms. He encouraged the study of Bulwer-Lytton's writings and the Vril concept. The Munich Circle collected reports of unusual cave systems and underground tunnels in Europe and Asia. They analyzed ancient texts for references to hidden cities and lost races. Some members claimed to have experienced visions or received messages from beings living underground. The Munich Circle's activities attracted the attention of political leaders in Germany. Some Nazi officials became interested in the idea of harnessing secret energies and technology. The Circle's theories influenced the formation of the Ahnenerbe, a Nazi research institute dedicated to studying ancestral heritage and occult knowledge. Expeditions were organized to search for entrances to the inner earth, especially in Tibet and the Arctic. Haushofer's influence extended beyond academic circles. He maintained contact with other occult groups in Germany and abroad. The Munich Circle's research and theories contributed to the broader spread of inner earth ideas in the 1930s. Their work laid the foundation for later Nazi expeditions and conspiracy theories about hidden bases and advanced technologies beneath the Earth's surface. Orsic, Thule's Society, and Nazi occultism. Maria Orsic was a medium and spiritualist active in Germany during the early 20th century. She became closely associated with the Vril Society, an occult group that believed in the existence of a powerful energy source called Vril. Orsic claimed to receive telepathic messages from beings living in subterranean realms. Her writings and seances attracted the attention of other occult societies, including the Thule Society. The Thule Society was founded in Munich in 1918. It promoted German nationalism and esoteric ideas. Members believed in the existence of ancient Aryan civilizations and sought evidence of their survival underground. The Thule Society maintained close ties with the Vril Society and often collaborated on research and rituals. Orsic played a central role in these activities, leading seances and interpreting messages from supposed inner earth beings. In the 1930s, the Thule Society became involved with the rising Nazi Party. Several prominent Nazi officials attended Thule meetings and shared an interest in occult theory. The Society's members believed that access to hidden energy sources and advanced technologies could give Germany a strategic advantage. They organized expeditions to search for entrances to subterranean worlds and to locate the Vril energy source described in Bulwer-Lytton's writings. The Vril Society was tasked with developing advanced technology, including disc-shaped flying craft. These efforts were based on Orsic's alleged communications and blueprints said to be received from inner Earth civilizations. Some researchers claim that prototypes of these craft were constructed in Munich during the early 1940s. The so-called Munich device was reportedly completed in 1943. The connection between the Thule Society, the Vril Society, and Nazi officials fueled later conspiracy theories. Some accounts suggest that the Nazis attempted to establish contact with subterranean beings and harness their technology. Others claim that high-ranking Nazis escaped to secret underground bases after World War II, taking advanced technology with them. The activities of Orsic and the Thule Society remain central to the history of Nazi occultism and inner Earth conspiracies. Search for Vril energy underground. In the late 1930s, the Thule Society and the Vril Society intensified efforts to locate the source of Vril energy underground. Their members believed that the key to advanced technology and limitless power could be found in hidden caverns beneath the Earth's surface. The societies organized research teams and gathered reports of unusual geological formations, deep caves, and legends of subterranean realms across Europe. One focus of their investigation was the Sudeten Mountains, now in Poland. The Wenceslaus mine in this region became a site of special interest. German engineers and scientists conducted surveys and excavations at the mine, searching for evidence of unknown energy sources or ancient structures. Witnesses later reported that secret experiments took place in underground chambers, but no official record survived the war. In 1938, the Nazi government sponsored an expedition to Antarctica. The goal was to map Queen Maud Land and search for possible entrances to a subterranean world. The expedition established a base, conducted aerial surveys, and dropped thousands of metal darts engraved with swastikas to mark territory. Some reports claim that the team discovered vast caverns warmed by geothermal energy, but these claims remain unverified. The Vril Society was tasked with developing disc-shaped craft powered by the alleged Vril energy. Engineers in Munich worked on prototypes, using blueprints said to be received through Orsik's mediumship. The so-called Munich device was reportedly completed in 1943. Witnesses claimed the craft could levitate and move silently, but there is no confirmed evidence of successful flight. After Germany's defeat in 1945, rumors spread that high-ranking Nazis and Vril Society members escaped using these advanced craft. Some theories suggest they traveled to secret bases in Antarctica or South America, taking technology and research documents with them. Allied investigators searched for evidence of these escapes, but most official inquiries found only abandoned sites and incomplete machinery. The search for Vril energy underground became a central theme in post-war conspiracy literature. The combination of missing personnel, unexplained technology, and secretive societies fueled ongoing speculation about hidden Nazi bases and the true nature of Vril power. Plans for disc-shaped craft. In the late 1930s and early 1940s, members of the Vril Society and Fuel Society developed detailed plans for disc-shaped aircraft. These plans were based on the belief that Vril energy could be harnessed to power advanced flying machines. Engineers and scientists in Munich and Berlin received blueprints and technical drawings, some of which were attributed to Maria Orsis's alleged communications with subterranean beings. The earliest prototypes were constructed in secret workshops outside Munich. German engineers experimented with circular hulls, central cockpits, and unconventional propulsion systems. Several designs included rotating magnetic fields and high-voltage electrical components. Witnesses later described the craft as resembling large, metallic discs with domed tops and unusual marking. Some blueprints showed a swastika or other occult symbols on the fuselage. By 1941, the Vril Society claimed to have completed a working model known as the Vril 1 Jaeger. This craft was reportedly tested at an isolated airfield in southern Germany. Test flights were conducted at night to avoid detection by Allied reconnaissance. According to post-war accounts, the Vril 1 demonstrated silent hovering and rapid changes in direction, but it lacked stability and range. In 1943, the so-called Munich device was completed. This larger disc-shaped craft was designed for long-distance travel and possibly intercontinental flight. Some accounts suggest it was powered by a combination of conventional engines and experimental energy devices. The craft was assembled in an underground hangar with security provided by SS personnel. Only a small group of engineers and society members had access to the site. Documents recovered after the war indicate that the Nazis planned to build a fleet of disc-shaped craft. The goal was to use these machines for reconnaissance, transport, and possibly escape if Germany faced defeat. There are reports that 2 or more prototypes were transported by rail to secret locations in Austria and Czechoslovakia as Allied forces advanced. No fully operational disc-shaped craft were ever recovered by the Allies. Most physical evidence was destroyed or disappeared during the final months of the war. The fate of the blueprints and remaining engineers remains uncertain. These events contributed to later claims about Nazi UFOs and secret Antarctic bases. Nazi UFOs and escape theories. After the war, reports of Nazi UFOs began to circulate in Europe and the Americas. Witnesses described sightings of disc-shaped craft in Germany, Austria, and later in South America. Some of these reports came from former military personnel and Allied intelligence officers. They claimed that the design and performance of these craft resembled the rumored Vril and Thule Society prototypes. In 1945, 2 German U-boats, U-530 and U-977, arrived in Argentina several weeks after Germany's surrender. The crews were interrogated by Argentine and Allied authorities. During questioning, some crew members claimed that secret Nazi installations had been built in Antarctica. They described large underground complexes, allegedly constructed to house high-ranking officials, and advanced technology. These statements were never confirmed by physical evidence, but they fueled speculation. Conspiracy theories soon emerged, suggesting that Adolf Hitler and other top Nazi leaders had escaped to these Antarctic bases. The main evidence for Hitler's death was a skull fragment found in Berlin in 1945. In 2009, DNA analysis showed that the fragment belonged to a woman, not Hitler. This discovery led some researchers to question the official narrative of Hitler's suicide. According to these theories, Nazi officials used U-boats and possibly disc-shaped craft to reach hidden bases beneath the South Pole. The harsh Antarctic environment made it difficult for Allied forces to conduct thorough searches. Some accounts claim that the Nazis established a self-sufficient colony in vast, geothermally heated caverns, complete with underground lakes and advanced facilities. British and American intelligence agencies investigated these claims. In the late 1940s, Operation High Jump sent a large U.S. naval task force to Antarctica, officially for training and research. Some conspiracy theorists believe the true goal was to locate and destroy secret Nazi bases. No direct evidence of such bases was found, but the operation's abrupt end and subsequent statements by Admiral Byrd added to the mystery. Stories of Nazi UFOs and Antarctic escapes remain a persistent part of post-war legend. They continue to inspire books, documentaries, and speculation about lost technology and hidden civilization. William Lay's 1947 account. In 1947, German rocket scientist William Lay published a written account discussing the existence of secret societies and their search for hidden truths. Lay had worked in Berlin during the war and was familiar with many scientific and esoteric circles. His account appeared 2 years after Germany's surrender and referenced both wartime events and earlier occult theories. Lay described a group known as Verhees Gesellschaft, which operated in Berlin during the late 1930s and early 1940s. The group consisted of scientists, engineers, and intellectuals who devoted their spare time to investigating the possibility of advanced ancient civilization. They met in private homes and university offices, sharing research, translations of old texts, and reports of unusual discoveries. Their convictions were influenced by a combination of religious beliefs and ideas about race. According to Ley, members of Vahe's Gesellschaft were aware that Bulwer Lytton's The Coming Race was a work of fiction. However, they believed that the novel contained hidden truths disguised as fantasy. The group collected evidence from archaeology, folklore, and recent scientific findings. They paid particular attention to stories of subterranean tunnels and powerful energy sources described in both ancient and modern accounts. Ley's account mentioned the Wenceslas mine in the Sudeten Mountains, which had been the site of secret wartime research. He claimed that some members of the group believed a unique power source had been discovered there. This, they argued, was the strongest proof that the legends of limitless underground energy might be based in reality. Ley did not provide technical details, but noted that the discovery intensified the group's efforts. After the war, Ley wrote that many members of Vahe's Gesellschaft disappeared or went into hiding. Some reportedly fled to South America or other remote locations. Ley's account was published in a small scientific journal and later cited by researchers investigating Nazi occult activities. His statements contributed to ongoing speculation about the fate of secret societies, lost technology, and the possible survival of advanced knowledge beneath the Earth's surface. Vahe's Gesellschaft in Berlin. Vahe's Gesellschaft was a small group formed in Berlin during the late 1930s. Its name translates as Vaha's Society. The group consisted of scientists, engineers, and academics. They met discreetly in apartments, university offices, and private clubs. Membership was by invitation only. The group's stated purpose was to search for hidden truths about ancient civilizations and lost technology. Members of Vahe's Gesellschaft shared a fascination with the idea of subterranean worlds. They studied ancient texts, archaeological reports, and contemporary occult literature. Bulwer Lytton's The Coming Race was a frequent topic of discussion. The group believed the novel contained coded references to real discoveries. They compared its descriptions with those found in the writings of Mathers, Blavatsky, and other occult figures. The society kept detailed records of their meetings. They compiled reports on unusual geological formations, deep cave systems, and unexplained archaeological finds in Europe and Asia. Some members traveled to sites in the Sudeten Mountains and the Carpathians to investigate local legends. They collected soil samples, mapped tunnel networks, and interviewed villagers about stories of hidden entrances. Vahe's Gesellschaft also maintained contact with similar groups in Munich, Vienna, and Prague. They exchanged letters and research notes through trusted couriers. The group's Berlin headquarters housed a small library of rare books and scientific papers. Members used coded language in their correspondence to avoid detection by authorities. During World War II, some members were recruited into German military research projects. They used their positions to access restricted archives and technical resources. The group became aware of secret experiments at locations, such as the Wenceslas mine. They believed these experiments were connected to the search for new energy sources and advanced propulsion systems. After the war, the society disbanded. Several members disappeared or emigrated. Their archives were hidden or destroyed to prevent seizure by Allied forces. Surviving documents from Vahe's Gesellschaft have become important sources for researchers studying the intersection of science, occultism, and the enduring legend of advanced subterranean civilization. Belief in hidden truths. Members of Vahe's Gesellschaft believed that mainstream history overlooked crucial evidence about ancient advanced civilization. They argued that many archaeological sites, such as deep cave systems and megalithic structures, could not be fully explained by known culture. The group's researchers compiled lists of unexplained artifacts and unusual geological formation. They compared these findings with descriptions in ancient texts, including the Mahabharata, the Book of Enoch, and early Greek histories. The society collected testimonies from miners, spelunkers, and local villagers who claimed to have encountered sealed tunnels or hidden chambers. They documented reports of strange symbols carved into stone deep underground. Some members traveled to the Sudetan Mountains, the Alps, and the Carpathians to investigate these claims firsthand. Their field notes described narrow passages, collapsed entrances, and evidence of ancient mining activity. Baha's Gesellschaft maintained a catalog of references to subterranean worlds in literature. They analyzed the works of Bulwer-Lytton, Blavatsky, and Steiner for coded messages or parallels to real discoveries. The group argued that fiction often concealed facts that could not be published openly. They believed that the Vroya, as described in The Coming Race, represented a distorted memory of a real underground civilization. During the war, the society's belief in hidden truths intensified. Members gained access to classified German research on geology, mining, and energy. They reviewed technical reports from the Wenceslaus mine and other secret facilities. Some concluded that Nazi scientists had discovered unusual energy phenomena underground, possibly related to the legends of Vril or Ro. After the war, surviving members continued to search for evidence. Some corresponded with researchers in South America and Antarctica, where rumors of secret Nazi bases persisted. Others focused on decoding documents and reconstructing lost archives. The group's commitment to uncovering hidden truths influenced later generations of conspiracy theorists and fringe historians. Their surviving records remain a source of debate and investigation among those interested in the possibility of advanced civilizations beneath the Earth's surface. Wenceslaus mine theories. The Wenceslaus mine is located in the Sudetan Mountains of present-day Poland. During World War II, the region was under German control. The mine became a site of intense interest for both military and occult researchers. German engineers and scientists conducted secret experiments in the tunnels and chambers of the mine. Surviving documents show that the site was listed as a restricted area by the SS and the Ahnenerbe. The Nazi research organization focused on ancestral heritage and esoteric studies. Reports from former mine workers and local residents describe unusual construction projects deep underground. Witnesses recalled the arrival of specialized equipment and the presence of armed guards at all entrances. Some workers reported seeing large, circular structures being assembled in hidden chambers. Others spoke of mysterious electrical devices and high-voltage cables running through the tunnels. After the war, Allied investigators inspected the Wenceslaus mine. They found abandoned machinery, concrete bunkers, and the remains of unfinished installations. Technical drawings recovered from the site included diagrams of disc-shaped craft and experimental power generators. These documents fueled speculation that the mine had been used for research into advanced propulsion and energy systems. Conspiracy theorists later linked the Wenceslaus mine to the development of the so-called Nazi bell device. The bell was described as a large bell-shaped machine filled with strange metallic substances. It was said to emit strong radiation and required heavy shielding. Some accounts claimed that the bell was designed to manipulate gravity or tap into unknown energy sources underground. Researchers have not found definitive proof of the bell's existence or its connection to the mine. However, the combination of secret wartime activity, missing personnel, and unexplained equipment has kept the Wenceslaus mine at the center of inner Earth theories. Some believe the experiments were attempts to access or replicate the limitless energy described in Bulwer Lytton's Vroya civilization. Others suggest the mine was a gateway to deeper, undiscovered tunnel networks. The site remains closed to the public and continues to attract researchers and investigators seeking answers. Nazi escape to Antarctica. After the fall of Berlin in May 1945, rumors began to circulate about high-ranking Nazi officials escaping Europe. Some reports claimed that secret U-boat missions carried scientists, engineers, and party leaders to remote locations. Argentina and Antarctica were frequently mentioned as possible destinations. 2 German submarines, U-530 and U-977, surrendered in Argentina months after Germany's official surrender. Their crews were interrogated by Allied and Argentine authorities. During questioning, some sailors claimed that German forces had constructed secret bases in Antarctica during the war. The Nazis had sent an official expedition to Antarctica in 1938. The team explored Queen Maud Land, mapped the region, and dropped metal markers to claim territory. They reported finding ice-free areas and unusual geological features. The expedition established a temporary base and collected samples. After the war, conspiracy theories claimed this expedition was the beginning of a larger effort to build underground facilities. According to some accounts, the Nazis used U-boats to transport personnel and equipment to the Antarctic coast. The harsh environment and lack of Allied presence made the region attractive for secret operations. Some theorists believe that disc-shaped craft and advanced technology were shipped to hidden caverns beneath the ice. There are claims that the Nazis constructed a vast, geothermally heated base with underground lakes and living quarters. British and American intelligence agencies monitored ship movements in the South Atlantic and Southern Ocean. In 1947, the United States launched Operation High Jump, a large naval expedition to Antarctica. The official purpose was to train personnel and test equipment. But some believe the true goal was to locate and eliminate Nazi outposts. Operation High Jump ended earlier than planned, leading to further speculation. No physical evidence of a Nazi Antarctic base has been found. Declassified documents confirm the presence of German expeditions and U-boat activity, but not the existence of an underground facility. Theories about Nazi escape to Antarctica continue to appear in books, articles, and documentaries. Researchers still debate the fate of missing Nazi officials and the possibility of secret bases beneath the ice. The Odessa Network allegations. After the end of World War II, Allied intelligence agencies began to investigate rumors of a secret organization called Odessa. The name Odessa stands for Organisation der ehemaligen SS-Angehörigen, meaning Organization of Former SS Members. According to post-war reports, Odessa was established to help high-ranking Nazis escape prosecution and settle in foreign countries. The network allegedly provided false documents, safe houses, and transportation for former SS officers and scientists. Investigators traced the movement of Nazi fugitives through Europe and South America. Many suspects traveled using forged Red Cross passports and assumed new identities. Argentina, Brazil, and Chile became known destinations for these individuals. Some records show that local governments and sympathizers assisted in the relocation process. High-profile cases, such as Adolf Eichmann and Josef Mengele, confirmed that Nazi officials had successfully evaded capture and lived for years under assumed names. Allegations soon emerged that Odessa had also played a role in the Antarctic escape theories. Some researchers claimed that the network organized secret supply routes to the South Pole. These routes allegedly included the use of U-boats, merchant ships, and aircraft to transport personnel and equipment. Theories stated that Odessa coordinated with remnants of the Nazi Navy and intelligence services to maintain contact with hidden bases beneath the Antarctic ice. British and American intelligence agencies collected testimonies from captured German officers and intercepted coded messages. Some reports described preparations for long-range submarine missions and the stockpiling of supplies in remote southern port. However, no official documentation has confirmed the existence of a permanent Odessa base in Antarctica. Despite the lack of direct evidence, the Odessa network remains a central element in many escape narratives. It is often linked to stories of advanced technology, secret societies, and the survival of a breakaway Nazi state. Researchers continue to examine declassified files, personal memoirs, and witness statements for clues about Odessa's true scope and activities. The debate over the network's role in post-war Nazi escapes and its possible connection to Antarctic bases continues to this day. Secret British bases and sieges. During and after World War II, the British military maintained several secret bases in the Antarctic and sub-Antarctic regions. These outposts were established for intelligence gathering, weather monitoring, and early warning against enemy activity. The British government authorized Operation Tabaran in 1943, which set up bases on Deception Island, Port Lockroy, and other remote locations. Personnel stationed at these sites conducted regular patrols and maintained radio contact with London. In the late 1940s, British intelligence received reports of unusual German activity in the Antarctic. Surveillance flights and reconnaissance missions were launched to investigate possible Nazi hideouts. British Special Air Service units were deployed to some of the more isolated bases. According to several post-war accounts, CSS teams discovered evidence of recently abandoned camps and unexplained tracks in the snow. One widely circulated story claims that a secret British base came under siege by unidentified forces in the late 1940s or early 1950s. The siege allegedly lasted several months, with the garrison cut off from outside support. Supplies were dropped by air, and radio transmissions were kept brief to avoid interception. British personnel reported sightings of strange aircraft, described as disc-shaped and silent, flying over the area at night. The situation reportedly escalated around Christmas, when a British relief force arrived and broke the siege. Survivors described finding evidence of underground tunnels and makeshift fortifications around the perimeter of the base. Some accounts mention a counterattack launched by unidentified assailants using advanced weaponry. British records from the period remain classified or incomplete, and no official confirmation of the siege has been released. In 2005, a man claiming to be the last survivor of the siege gave a detailed statement to a British journalist. He described a vast, geothermally heated cavern beneath the ice, with underground lakes and large constructed chambers. He claimed that the attackers retreated into these tunnels after the siege ended. Researchers have not been able to verify the details of his account. The story of the secret British bases and the Antarctic siege remains a subject of ongoing investigation and debate. SAS rescue operations in the late 1940s, the British Special Air Service, known as the SAS, conducted several classified operations in the Antarctic region. Official records from the British Ministry of Defence confirm the deployment of SAS units to outposts established during Operation Tabarin. The stated purpose was to secure British interests and monitor potential enemy activity in the area. The SAS teams were trained in cold weather survival, demolition, and reconnaissance. They carried standard-issue firearms, explosives, and radio equipment adapted for polar conditions. Reports from declassified documents show that in December 1947, an emergency signal was received from one of the remote British bases. The message indicated that the base had lost contact with headquarters and that supplies were running low. Weather conditions at the time were severe, with high winds and low visibility. The nearest support was over 200 kilometers away. A rescue operation was organized within 24 hours. 2 SAS teams were flown to a forward station using Royal Air Force transport planes. From there, they traveled overland using tracked vehicles and sleds. The journey took 3 days due to blizzards and shifting ice. Upon arrival, the SAS found the base partially damaged. The main entrance was blocked by snow and ice, and several buildings showed signs of forced entry. Surviving personnel reported that unknown assailants had attacked the base at night. The attackers used non-standard weapons and left behind unusual debris. The SAS teams secured the perimeter and treated wounded survivors. They recovered fragments of metal and equipment that did not match any known Allied or Axis technology. The rescue teams evacuated the injured by air and destroyed sensitive documents and equipment before leaving the site. After the operation, all recovered materials were sent to research facilities in the United Kingdom for analysis. The official report concluded that the attacker's identity remained unknown. The SAS recommended increased patrols and improved security for all Antarctic installations. No further attacks of this nature were reported in the following years. The details of the SAS rescue operations remain partly classified. Discovery of Nazi megabase. In the early 1950s, British and American intelligence agencies increased aerial and ground surveillance in Antarctica. Reconnaissance flights photographed unusual heat signatures and geometric patterns in a remote sector of Queen Maud Land. Analysis of the images suggested the presence of large, artificial structures beneath the ice. A joint investigation team was assembled, including military engineers, geologists, and intelligence officers. They traveled to the region using tracked vehicles and portable drilling equipment. Upon arrival, the team identified a concealed entrance in a glacial wall. The entrance led to a tunnel reinforced with concrete and steel. Inside, the investigators found evidence of recent human activity. There were crates marked with German writing, electrical wiring, and ventilation system. The tunnel opened into a vast underground cavern. The cavern contained several large buildings constructed from prefabricated metal panels. Some structures resembled barracks, workshops, and storage facilities. The team documented extensive hydroelectric and geothermal installations. Pipes carried warm water from underground hot springs to heat the buildings. There were generators, fuel tanks, and a central control room with German language manuals and technical diagrams. In one chamber, the investigators found a collection of scientific instruments and laboratory equipment. There were also partially assembled aircraft components, including circular airframes and propulsion units. Personal effects such as uniforms, documents, and identification tags indicated the presence of German personnel. The latest dated materials were from early 1945. Batwad, food supplies, medical kits, and ammunition were stored in sealed containers. The team found evidence of attempts to cultivate crops in hydroponic trays under artificial lights. Several vehicles, including tracked transports and snowmobiles, were parked in a garage area. The investigation concluded that the site had been constructed and operated by Nazi forces during and after World War II. The scale and complexity of the base suggested long-term occupation. No survivors or recent occupants were found. The findings were classified by both British and American authorities. The site was sealed, and further access was restricted. The discovery confirmed that a significant Nazi installation had existed beneath the Antarctic ice. Byrd's public warnings. In 1947, Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd led Operation High Jump, a large-scale United States Navy expedition to Antarctica. The official objectives included training personnel, testing equipment, and consolidating American presence on the continent. The operation involved over 4,000 men, 13 ships, and 33 aircraft. Byrd's team conducted aerial surveys, scientific experiments, and reconnaissance missions across Queen Maud Land and other regions. After the expedition, Admiral Byrd participated in an international news conference in Chile. On March 5, 1947, he made several public statements about the strategic importance of Antarctica and the need for immediate defense measures. Byrd warned that hostile regions could pose a threat to the United States and other world powers. He stated that the next war might come from the polar regions, and that flying objects could travel from pole to pole at high speeds. Byrd's comments were based on his personal polar experience and the observations made during Operation High Jump. He described unidentified flying objects sighted by his pilots during the expedition. According to Byrd, these objects demonstrated capabilities far beyond current technology, including rapid acceleration, sudden changes in direction, and silent flight. Byrd did not specify the origin of these craft, but he emphasized the urgency of preparing for potential attacks from the Antarctic region. The Admiral clarified that he did not wish to alarm the public. He explained that his warnings were intended for military and government officials responsible for national security. Byrd's statements were widely reported in American and South American newspapers. Military analysts and intelligence agencies reviewed his remarks and the official reports from Operation High Jump. Following Byrd's warnings, the United States increased surveillance and research activities in Antarctica. Defense planners considered new strategies for monitoring the polar regions. Byrd continued to advocate for American presence and readiness in Antarctica until his retirement. His public statements remain a key reference in discussions about unexplained phenomena and the strategic significance of the continent during the early Cold War period. Descent into the inner Earth. Several years after Operation High Jump, a document surfaced that claimed to be the diary of Admiral Byrd. The diary described a flight over Antarctica in February 1947, during which Byrd allegedly experienced a series of extraordinary events. According to the text, Byrd's aircraft entered an area where navigation instruments malfunctioned and radio contact was lost. Temperature outside increased despite the polar location, and the landscape below changed from ice to green valleys and flowing streams. The diary stated that Byrd and his crew saw large animals resembling mammoths moving across the terrain. Soon after, two disc-shaped aircraft appeared on either side of their plane. These craft bore markings similar to a swastika and seemed to guide Bird's aircraft by remote control. The controls of the plane became unresponsive, and the crew reported a sensation of buoyancy and lightness. The account continued with Bird's aircraft descending into a large opening in the ground. The crew was escorted to a subterranean city filled with advanced technology and architecture, unlike anything known on the surface. The inhabitants of the city were described as tall, fair-skinned beings who communicated telepathically. Bird was told that their society had survived for thousands of years beneath the earth, protected from surface wars and disasters. The beings, according to the diary, warned Bird about the dangers of atomic energy and the destructive tendencies of humanity. They claimed to have sent emissaries to world governments, but their messages were ignored. After delivering their warning, the beings escorted Bird and his crew back to their aircraft. The controls returned to normal, and the plane ascended through the opening to the surface. Bird's diary ended with a final entry dated March 11th, 1947. He expressed concern for the future and frustration that his report would not be believed. The authenticity of the diary remains unproven, but its detailed descriptions have influenced many later theories about the existence of advanced civilizations inside the Earth. Meeting superior being. The diary attributed to Admiral Byrd describes a direct encounter with beings who claim to be the guardians of the subterranean world. According to the account, after the forced landing, Byrd and his crew were met by several tall individuals. These beings were described as physically imposing, with fair skin, light hair, and symmetrical features. They wore simple metallic garments and moved with deliberate, calm gestures. The beings communicated with Byrd using the form of telepathy. The diary states that Byrd heard their voices in his mind, clear and without any language barrier. One individual, identified as a leader, introduced himself as an emissary of the inner civilization. He explained that their society had observed surface humanity for centuries. The leader claimed that their people, sometimes called the Vroya in other sources, had survived underground since a great cataclysm thousands of years ago. Byrd was escorted through a city built inside a vast cavern. The buildings were constructed from unknown materials, with smooth surfaces and geometric design. Artificial light sources illuminated the area, and there were gardens with unfamiliar plants. The air was described as warm and fresh, despite being deep underground. During the meeting, the superior beings presented technological devices that Byrd could not identify. The diary mentions silent transportation vehicles, floating platforms, and screens displaying moving images. The beings explained that their technology was powered by a limitless energy source, similar to the Fior described in Bulwer Lytton's novel. The leader expressed concern about atomic weapons and the direction of surface civilization. He stated that their society had intervened in the past to prevent disaster. The beings delivered a warning, urging Byrd to carry their message to world leaders. They emphasized the need for peace and responsible use of technology. After the meeting, Byrd and his crew were guided back to their aircraft. The controls became responsive, and they ascended to the surface. The diary concludes with Byrd's account of returning to base and recording the details of the encounter. No independent evidence has confirmed this meeting, but the story continues to appear in Inner Earth literature. Ritter von X and his background. Ritter von X is a name that appears in several post-war documents related to Inner Earth investigation. Little is known about his real identity, but surviving records suggest he was born in Berlin, Germany, in the early 1920s. He claimed to have served in the Kriegsmarine the German Navy during World War II. After the war, he presented himself as a former officer with knowledge of secret Nazi operations and advanced technologies. In the late 1940s, Ritter von X founded a group called the International Society for Complete Earth. The group's stated purpose was to investigate reports of advanced civilizations living inside the Earth. Ritter von X recruited former military personnel, engineers, and researchers from Germany and Austria. The society held meetings in private homes and rented halls in Berlin. Members exchanged information about unexplained wartime events, missing personnel, and rumors of secret underground installation. Ritter von X claimed to possess a copy of Admiral Byrd's alleged diary. He circulated typed excerpts among society members and referenced the document in correspondence with other researchers. He argued that Byrd's account matched stories collected from German pilots and U-boat crews who reported strange phenomena near the poles. Ritter von X also collected testimonies from former SS officers who claimed to have participated in expeditions to the Arctic and Antarctic during the war. The International Society for Complete Earth published several pamphlets and newsletters in the early 1950s. These publications summarized witness statements, analyzed technical drawings, and compared accounts from different countries. Ritter von X wrote articles about the possibility of geothermally heated caverns beneath Antarctica and the existence of advanced technology hidden from the public. In interviews, Ritter von X described his own experiences with unusual aircraft and unexplained electromagnetic disturbances during naval missions. He insisted that post-war authorities suppressed evidence of underground civilizations and advanced energy sources. By the mid-1950s, Ritter von X's society had attracted attention from both journalists and intelligence agencies. His activities contributed to the spread of inner Earth theories in Europe and beyond. Secret sects, mission. The International Society for Complete Earth, led by Ritter von X, operated as a private research group with a clear mission. The Society's stated goal was to investigate the existence of advanced civilizations beneath the Earth's surface. Members gathered reports, eyewitness testimonies, and technical documents related to unexplained underground phenomena. They prioritized accounts from former military personnel, scientists, and engineers who claimed direct experience with subterranean anomalies. The Society established a small archive in Berlin. This archive contained copies of alleged diaries, technical blueprints, and photographs of unusual geological formation. Members cataloged sightings of unidentified flying objects, reports of electromagnetic disturbances, and descriptions of artificial tunnels found in Europe and the polar regions. The group also maintained a list of missing German personnel from the final months of World War II, cross-referencing these names with rumors of secret bases and hidden colonies. Ritter von X encouraged members to conduct field investigations. Expeditions were organized to abandoned mines, cave systems, and alleged tunnel entrances in Germany, Austria, and Poland. The Society documented physical evidence such as tool marks, ventilation shafts, and remnants of machinery. Members interviewed local residents and collected folklore about hidden communities and strange events underground. The group corresponded with similar organizations in Switzerland, Sweden, and Argentina. These contacts shared information about unexplained disappearances, unusual aircraft sightings, and possible entrances to underground realms. Ritter von X also maintained communication with former members of wartime research units. Seeking technical insight, into the feasibility of subterranean construction and geothermal energy systems. The Society published periodic bulletins summarizing their findings. These bulletins included maps, eyewitness sketches, and translated excerpts from foreign reports. Ritter von X emphasized the need for careful documentation and verification of all claims. The group avoided overt political statements, focusing instead on the collection and analysis of concrete evidence. By the late 1950s, the International Society for Complete Earth had established itself as a central hub for inner Earth research in post-war Europe. Diary of the Inner Earth Journey. In 1959, the International Society for Complete Earth obtained a handwritten diary from an anonymous source. The diary claimed to be a first-person account of a journey into a vast subterranean world. The text began with a description of a flight over Antarctica in February 1947. The author wrote that the aircraft's instruments malfunctioned as it approached a specific set of coordinates. The temperature outside increased sharply, and the landscape below changed from ice to green valleys and flowing water. According to the diary, the aircraft was intercepted by two disc-shaped craft. These objects bore markings resembling a swastika and moved with precision. The author stated that the controls of the plane became unresponsive, and the craft was guided to a landing on a flat, grassy plain. Upon landing, the crew was met by tall beings with fair skin and light hair. The beings wore simple metallic uniforms and communicated telepathically. The diary described an escort to an underground city through a wide tunnel entrance. The city was illuminated by artificial light and featured smooth, geometric buildings. The air was warm and fresh, and the streets were lined with unfamiliar plants. The inhabitants demonstrated advanced technology, including silent transportation vehicles and floating platforms. The author observed screens displaying moving images and machines, powered by an unknown energy source. During the visit, the crew was brought before a council of elders. The council warned of the dangers of atomic weapons and urged the visitors to deliver a message of caution to surface governments. The diary recorded that the author was shown historical records of past surface wars and natural disasters. The council explained that their society had survived underground for thousands of years, protected by advanced technology and strict laws. After several hours, the crew was escorted back to their aircraft. The controls became functional, and the plane ascended to the surface without incident. The diary ended with a statement that the author had been chosen to witness proof of another world beneath the Earth. The International Society for Complete Earth archived the diary and used its contents as a basis for further investigation and correspondence with other research groups, emissaries, and ignored messages. The diary described in detail how the Subterranean Council selected certain individuals from the surface as emissaries. These emissaries were given messages intended for the leaders of major world powers. The Council's warnings focused on the dangers of atomic weapons and the destructive path of modern warfare. According to the diary, the underground civilization had observed humanity's technological progress and was concerned about the misuse of energy. The International Society for Complete Earth compiled reports of similar claims from other sources. In several cases, pilots, explorers, and military personnel described encounters with advanced beings or disc-shaped craft. Witnesses reported being given warnings about nuclear tests and environmental destruction. The Society translated these accounts and compared them to the diary's narrative. They found recurring themes of caution, peace, and the need for responsible use of science. In 1947 and 1948, several letters were sent by the Society to government ministries in Germany, Austria, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The letters summarized the diary's contents and urged officials to consider the possibility of advanced civilizations beneath the earth. The Society requested official investigations and offered to share their archive with authorities. Most government offices acknowledged receipt, but did not pursue further action. The Society also contacted scientific organizations and universities. They provided copies of the diary and related reports to researchers in geology, anthropology, and physics. Some academics expressed interest in the historical and cultural aspects of the material. However, few took the claims of subterranean contact seriously. The majority of responses dismissed the accounts as fiction or unverified rumor. Despite the lack of official response, the Society continued to collect testimonies and monitor reports of unusual phenomena. Members maintained correspondence with similar groups in South America, Eastern Europe, and Scandinavia. They documented new claims of contact and compared them with the original diary. The Society's records show that the warnings from the alleged emissaries were not heeded by world governments or scientific authorities during this period. Return to the surface and final diary entry. The diary described the final moments of the journey as the crew prepared to leave the subterranean city. The beings who had acted as guides escorted the visitors back to their aircraft. The crew was instructed to remain calm and follow the same route by which they had arrived. The aircraft was positioned on a smooth, grassy expanse near the city's main entrance tunnel. The controls, which had previously failed to respond, were now fully functional. The beings communicated a final message of caution, emphasizing the importance of delivering their warning to surface authorities. The crew boarded the aircraft and completed pre-flight checks. No damage or mechanical issues were found. The beings stood at a distance, observing silently as the engine started. The aircraft lifted off without incident and followed a direct course back toward the surface opening. The transition from the underground environment to the exterior was marked by a rapid drop in temperature and a return to the familiar white landscape of Antarctica. Upon regaining radio contact, the crew transmitted a brief status update to their base. They reported an uneventful flight and gave standard coordinates for their return. The official flight log contained no mention of the underground events. The diary stated that the crew was instructed by superiors to submit only a routine mission report. No reference to the subterranean encounter was included in the official documentation. The final entry in the diary was dated March 11th, 1947. The author wrote that the mission had ended, but the responsibility to share the warning remained. The entry included a summary of the being's message, a plea for peace, restraint in the use of atomic energy, and recognition of the existence of advanced civilizations beneath the earth. The author expressed concern that the information would not be accepted by authorities, but emphasized the duty to record the events accurately. After this entry, no further updates appeared in the diary. The document was archived by the International Society for Complete Earth and referenced in subsequent correspondence and research. Forrestal's death and government fallout. James Forrestal served as the first United States Secretary of Defense. He was appointed by President Harry S. Truman in September 1947. Forrestal was responsible for overseeing the unification of the armed forces under the National Security Act. He managed military budgets, intelligence operations, and post-war demobilization. During his tenure, Forrestal received reports about Operation High Jump and other polar expeditions. He was briefed on military findings in Antarctica, including statements from Admiral Byrd. In early 1949, Forrestal's behavior changed. Colleagues and family members observed signs of extreme exhaustion, paranoia, and depression. On March 28, 1949, President Truman requested Forrestal's resignation. Truman cited concerns about Forrestal's health and ability to perform his duty. Forrestal's government status ended immediately. He was transported by Navy aircraft to Hobe Sound, Florida, where he was diagnosed with severe depression and physical exhaustion. Forrestal was then moved to Bethesda Naval Hospital in Maryland. He was placed under constant supervision in a secure ward. Medical staff limited his contact with visitors and restricted his access to news and correspondence. Reports from hospital personnel described episodes of agitation, insomnia, and fear of surveillance. Forrestal expressed concern about national security and the secrecy of government operation. On May 22, 1949, Forrestal was found dead outside the hospital. He had fallen from a window on the 16th floor. The official Navy investigation ruled his death a suicide. The report cited mental illness, stress, and overwork as contributing factors. However, some colleagues and researchers questioned the circumstances. They noted inconsistencies in witness statements, the presence of a bathrobe cord tied around Forrestal's neck, and missing pages from his personal diary. Forrestal's death led to public debate about government secrecy and the handling of sensitive information. Congressional committees reviewed hospital procedures and security protocols. The incident increased scrutiny of defense officials and intelligence agencies during the early Cold War. Forrestal's case remains a frequent subject in discussions of unexplained events and high-level government fallout after World War II.